Well, a very big welcome to you all to our coaching cafe. Hello, my name is Natalie Ashdown from the Open Door Coaching Group. I'm here with our resident HR specialist, Paula Jones Hunt, and I'm excited to be back with you today because I did miss last Friday. I hope you did catch up with Paula's webinar that she did last week on the intersect between AI, coaching, and HR services because it was really interesting. So we're continuing our series, and today we're focusing on what if AI can make my coaching better? That's the question we're asking. And today I want to show you how we can put that to the test. So before we begin, let me acknowledge the traditional owners and the custodians on the lands on which we're all meeting today and their continuing connection to the land, waters and communities of Australia and the lands from all around the world upon which you might be joining us. So whether you're joining us live here on the podcast or you're listening to this on your favorite streaming service, we welcome you across all the lands, paying our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and elders from Indigenous communities from all around the world. Well, today's agenda, it's pretty straightforward. We have been talking about the use of AI in coaching over the past couple of weeks, and I really encourage you to dig into those recordings and dig into how you might be thinking about how you can use AI in your coaching. And today specifically, we're thinking about how can we make our coaching better? And I've got some really great examples to show you. If you are new to the Coaching Cafe, welcome. We are all about creating a community, sharing learned experiences, having thought-provoking conversations. And if you are here because you are also trying to develop yourself and earn those CCEs, welcome. We'll have those available for you at the end of the session. If you are joining us as a regular, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining us. You know that we love Fridays. We love you being here. We really appreciate how you contribute and the thought-provoking conversations that we have. And of course, if you're listening to this on your favorite streaming service, then we really appreciate you as well. If you think I'm excited, I am excited. I love being back with you. I've got some great things to share with you. And I will admit, I'm heading off to the Australian Formula One Grand Prix straight after this. So for those of you that know me, I love fast cars. I love fast jets. And so I will be in my happy place in about an hour and a half. So I'm not rushing at all, but I am excited. Let's get into it, shall we? So last week, Paula coined this term with you, and I really like it, what you said there, Paula. We're thinking about the use of AI in coaching, and we are explorers. We're not experts. And that's what I really want to encourage you to do. As coaches, we're often leading the way in our workplaces. And so thinking about how we can use AI to become better coaches is a great thing to explore. And that's what I want to do with you this morning. So if you are keen to explore, then hopefully I'll give you some ideas that you can apply between now and when we catch up with you again. As always, feel free to pop a message into the chat box and we will pick those comments up as you go along. And we will pick up your comments, your thoughts and your questions. And Tracy, happy anniversary to you. She says she can't believe it's been a year since I was learning with you. So time goes great. And thank you for coming back and continuing your learning with us. We really appreciate that. Okay, here we go. I want to ask the question, how can we make our coaching better? And I want to show you what I've done here. And I want to show you what we've done with ChatGPT. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So what I have done for you, and there's a lot on the screen, so I'll talk you through it as well. And for those that are listening, I'll talk you through it as well. Here's my challenge for you. We can take the transcripts of our coaching recordings. So for those of you that have done your certificate in workplace or business coaching or your diploma of organizational coaching, you will have done coaching demonstrations, and Bridget will have listened to those coaching demonstrations and given you feedback. If you pop those coaching demonstrations into any really tool that you can use and turn it into a transcript, now you've got a transcript of your actual coaching. What you can do with that transcript is put it into an AI tool such as ChatGPT, and you can start asking it questions. So what I've done for you as a demonstration is I've taken one of my PCC marked recordings. So this is a recording that I did that allowed me to pass the PCC, ICF PCC exam, and it was recorded and passed at that level. These recordings are also the ones we use as demonstrations in our diploma of organisational coaching. So just giving you the background there. What I did is I took just the first part of my transcript and I put it into ChatGPT, so just the first 2 or 3 minutes. Put it into ChatGPT. And for those of you that can see the screen, you can see what I actually asked ChatGPT to do. I said, review this transcript between the client and the coach and suggest what better questions should the coach have asked. I'm excited, I need to slow down. So that's the question. What better questions could the coach have asked? So I'm going to read you a bit of the transcript. And for those that you can see it, you will see already where I could have improved. Now, remembering that this is a PCC recording, it's a high level recording, you can see already where I could have improved. Now, if you're listening to this, pop onto our blog and you'll see the actual transcript there as well. So I'm going to read it for you. And already, let's do this as a learning experience. Feel free to pop it into the chat box. What better questions could the coach have asked? Here we go. So the coach says, it's me. There was a bit of a warm up and I said, I'm really great. What about you? What's news with you? That's how I opened. And the client says, so I finished my stint of acting and it just went sensationally. Everyone is delighted and happy. My boss came back yesterday and he's delighted and happy and yeah, so it's great. I'm taking a bit of leave, few days around the long weekend, and it's just kind of catching up with myself again, so everything's great. And the coach says, oh, that's great. So that's great to hear it went well. Well done. And the client says, yeah, it did really, really went well. Really, really well. And the coach says, so what do you think you did differently? Or what was, special about what you did that made them so delighted and happy? And the client says, well, I think it was, the whole shining, not shining thing. I think I just went about it calmly, sensibly, didn't try to do too much, just try to do a solid job, and bring people along with me. So I was kind of more authentic, I think, in the job that I've seen other people when they first go in and do acting roles, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just really trying to be solid, and I did a very best job I could. And the coach says, yeah, really authentic. And the client says, yeah, I think so. And that seemed to be exactly what they were looking for. And the coach says, that's wonderful. And if you were to reflect, is there any key lessons that you got out of what you did? Being calm and, not shining, just doing a good, solid job. Okay. So that's a 1 minute 40 introductory piece of the actual transcript. Now, if we're being critical about this, you can already, now it's just a warm up, right? We're literally, the coach is just listening to the client, gathering what's been happening, allowing the client to express how they're feeling. So it's just a little bit of a warm up, feeling good kind of introduction. But you can hear already, if we're talking about higher levels of coaching, already at 52 seconds into the recording, the coach says, so what do you think you did differently? Or what was, special about what you did that made them so delighted and happy? That is a good coaching question. But for those of you that have trained with us, What have I done already that we try not to have you do? Paula?
Is it possible that you stacked a question?
Paula, it is absolutely possible. In fact, I did. Yes. So yes, that's right. Giving the thumbs up. People have spotted that already. So that's fine. It's a double stack question at the beginning. Probably wouldn't have done that. But the coach is basically responding with a bit of, yeah, really authentic. Wow, good on you. So a bit of this backwards and forwards to allow the coachee to bring out what is coming. And then the coach asks, that's wonderful. If you were to reflect on that, is there any key lessons that you got out of just being calm and just doing a solid job? So I like that question. That's a good question. A little bit stacked, but I'm now getting the person to say, I hear what you're saying. Let's reflect on that. What were the key lessons? And that's quite nice coaching. However, we asked Chat GPT, look at this, everybody. The chat GPT, we've analysed just that warm up. We've just taken a little snippet, don't forget, that's totally fine. Chat GPT says the conversation between the client and the coach seems positive and affirming, but there are opportunities for the coach to delve deeper and facilitate more reflection and growth. Here are some suggested questions that the coach could have asked. Now, I love it, everybody, because what ChatGPT have done is step number one, affirm the situation. Step number two, here's some suggestions. So even here, it's a very good way of thinking about how do we do feedback when we're giving feedback to coaching. So, and here's the questions. The questions are, what specific moments or actions do you feel contributed most to your success in the acting role? What a great question. And it even says, ChatGPT offers us this question can help the client identify specific behaviours or approaches that were effective and can be replicated in future endeavours. I'm looking at this, Paula, I can see you nodding your head and we're going spot on. Agree. Another question, were there any challenges or obstacles you encountered during your stint using the client's language, and how did you overcome them? Great question. Another question, how did you ensure that you were being authentic in your performance? Were there any strategies or particular techniques you used? What a great question. So using the client's language here as well, this is what I'm testing ChatGPT for. Are they using the client's language? Are they creating those questions that is built on the actual client's language? And the answer is yes. In what ways do you think you authentically resonated with others? What a great question. And then carrying on, beyond this particular role, how do you think you can continue to bring authenticity into your work? Are there other areas you still feel you could improve, even after the success of this project? And the final ones that ChatGPT has offered is, how do you plan to maintain momentum and build on this success moving forward? Paula, what's your gut feeling? There's some responses here in the chat. Ian says he might have thrown in, what was some of the feedback you got? So you did this, you felt amazing, but what was some of the feedback you got? That's a great question, an excellent question you could have asked in that moment. Great question. And then Ian's asked, do you need to put them in your own language? So Ian, the response to that is yes. And what you can do with ChatGPT, and I have tried this, is you can say, thank you for those questions. Can you make it simpler? Or thank you for those questions. Can you target these questions in a way that's more easy to understand, targeted at senior leaders, whatever. So you can ask ChatGPT to modify the questions, and that kind of picks up your language. Or, as you've suggested, take those questions and modify themselves so that they're in a language that you would actually use. Yeah, great. Paula, what do you think?
I love all of those questions, and I love finding new questions to ask and use and mold and grow. I might not have used some of those questions because I probably couldn't pronounce them as I was going through them, but seeing it and going, what else can I do with this? And I think the great thing that I found about ChatGPT and other AI is that there is a craft in asking it for what you want. So it's a bit like when Google came out, you couldn't, if you had to figure out, how do I ask Google to give me what I want? And I think ChatGPT and the other AIs are very similar. And it's about really narrowing in and asking it specifically what you want, or in a way that you need it to come out. But I think the questions it's coming up with, I mean, you'd be happy if they came up and you went, man, I could have used that in there. And then you can use it yourself to say, how am I going to maintain momentum with these new questions as I move forward with them?
Indeed, absolutely. Yes, I agree with you there. So we can take these questions and think about them for the next time, or as you say, use them and add them to our own question bank for quality questions. All right, so I didn't leave it there. I said, building on the above suggestions, what did the coach need to do to take their coaching to the next level? And here's ChatGPT's suggestion. To take their coaching to the next level, the coach could implement the following strategies: active listening, empowerment. And so so active listening, empowerment, challenging assumptions, goal setting, accountability, feedback, and taking a holistic approach. So under, say, empowerment, for example, it says, instead of simply affirming the client's successes, the coach should empower the client to recognize their own strengths and capabilities. And this can be achieved by asking open-ended questions that encourage self-reflection and self-discovery. And I want you all to know, hand on heart, this is exactly what we need to be doing. So this, when I look at the difference between, say, a PCC recording and an MCC recording, this little piece of advice from ChatGPT, instead of simply affirming the client's successes, the coach should empower the client to recognize their own strengths and abilities. That is the difference between certain levels of coaching. So I am loving this idea that we can take a transcript and get these ideas. Now, of course, with everything we do, you do have to run it past the human perspective. So we're being critical or exploring this coaching transcript. ChatGPT has taken I've given ChatGPT a 2-minute snippet of the recording. ChatGPT does not know what's happened beforehand. ChatGPT doesn't know what's happening after the 2 minutes of recording. So you might think at this point, this is not a PCC recording. So there's obviously other things that happened in the recording to push the coaching to the level. And as I said, it's a warm-up, it's a 2-minute warm-up. So all of those that context is not there. But even if that's the case, everybody, we're still getting really good insights into how we can make our coaching better. And that's where I think the power of us pushing ourselves in terms of coaches can actually come into it by using an AI. And let me just pause for a moment, see if there's any other thoughts or reflections coming out as well. Paula, other thoughts and reflections for you?
Yeah, I think it's that piece that says that we're always striving for better. And so if you are striving for better, if you want to make every conversation, if you want to progress every conversation, because as we know, practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes progression. If we want to progress our skills, if we want to progress how great our coaching conversations are, if we want to progress the experience a coach has in our coaching conversations, then something like this that you can use any day of the week. You don't have to pay for someone to review your conversation. You don't have to upload something. It's just an opportunity for a coach to go, let's dig in deep and go, how else can I do this?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I agree. It is about progression. And I'm thinking about that for myself. How do I keep my coaching at a high level? How do I progress my coaching? Ian has made a very valid comment, and he says the suggestions are a bit generic in of themselves. And I agree with you, Ian. I think that's where we need to add more things or challenge ChatGPT to do more than just give us the generic as well. I have got another example, and the ChatGPT's suggestions are almost the same when it comes to this active listening, empowering, challenging assumptions. Almost the same when it's a very different coaching conversation. So Peter has picked that up as well. So they seem standard, so more than reflective of what you've added through the transcript. Yes, very good point. So ChatGPT, the AI bots, are working, like we've said over the last couple of weeks, on a formula, pushing us through a process, gathering the world universe information on this. So yes, that's where that's where someone like Bridget, who is a PCC marker trained coach to listen to coaching recordings, you cannot take away from Bridget's 20 years of experience when she gives feedback. So yes. So anyway, just in terms of pushing it a little bit further, I asked the bot, can you review your suggestions above? Now, what I like about this information, what I like about the use of AI is that it's iterative. So we can say, based on what you've done so far, now do this. And thank you. Someone has picked up that the version that I'm using. Thank you very much. Aon is that it's an earlier version of ChatGPT as well. So thank you. We're thinking here, can you review your suggestions above? It's an iterative approach, and make sure that they're in line with the ICF core competencies. I'm like, let's see. And indeed, what it did was took its suggestions and said, say, active listening, for example, this aligns with the ICF core competency of active listening, which involves fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and remembering what is being said. Active listening fosters trust and rapport between the coach and the client, enabling deeper exploration and understanding. So I do really like that it's linking back to the actual ICF core competencies. And yes, I did double check that this was the case. Under empowerment, it says empowering the client aligns with several ICF core competencies, including coaching presence, tick, which involves being fully present with the client and creating a safe, supportive environment for exploration and growth. Empowering the client also supports the core competency of evoking awareness, tick, as it encourages the client to discover their own insights and solutions. So here, if you really are wanting to think about how I can make my coaching better, and as we are aligning it through to the ICF core competencies, it is giving me generic information. I appreciate that. However, this is a very good review, a very good way to think about my coaching and whether I am hitting coaching presence and the core competency of evoking awareness. So another insight for you.
I think too, so Natalie.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah. I think too, it's a piece of a puzzle, right? So in order to improve your coaching, there's a number of pieces of puzzles that you can put together and that links in. And I think this is one of those pieces of the puzzle that you can use.
Absolutely. If you're thinking about moving from, say, ACC to PCC, or you're thinking about how do I make sure that I pass that ACC exam or pass that PCC exam, I pushed it even further. I said, can you review the coaching questions? Remember, I gave the snippet of the front, right? The 2-minute warm-up. Can you review the coaching questions and ensure that they would be meeting the ICF Master Certified Coach MCC level? Certainly, says ChatGPT. Let's review the coaching questions to ensure they're aligned with the expectations of the ICF Master Certified Coach MCC level. Now, here I think it dropped off a little bit. I think, honestly, if we're reading this, I think it added bigger words, fancier words, slightly longer questions, as opposed to particularly MCC level questions. That's my insight. But it did say, what specific moments or actions do you feel contributed to most to your success in the acting role? Lovely question. Were there any challenges or obstacles you encountered during your stint? How did you overcome them? Lovely. How did you ensure you were being authentic in your performance? Now, the better questions are, in what ways do you think your authenticity resonated with others? So you felt that you were being authentic, but what was the impact on others? How can you continue to bring authenticity into your work? Very nice question. So I don't feel like these are actually very different from the other questions. So I pushed it one more time. I said, I'm not sure, to be honest. How would the questions be different if they were asked by a coach holding ACC level certification versus MCC level certification? And then it said, no worries, certainly, let's tailor the coaching questions to differentiate between the level of certification. And it said, for an ACC coach, you might say, what moments or actions do you feel contributed most to your success in the acting role? Let's scroll down. At the MCC level, it said, can you describe in some detail some of the key moments or actions that you believe were pivotal in your success during the acting role, and what insights did you gain from those experiences? So this is a bit of a difference. The ACC level is just tell me what happened, but the MCC is linking it to what was pivotal and what did you gain. So it's delving a little bit deeper. Anyway, we can go on, and can you believe it? We are right on time. The last thing I said is, how would you rate the coach on a scale of 1 to 10? And it said, rating the coach on a scale of 1 to 10 depends on various factors, such as the effectiveness in facilitating the conversation, the depth of insight generated, the level of rapport established with the client, and the overall impact of the coaching session. Based on the provided transcript and assuming a higher rating reflects stronger coaching skills, I would rate the coach as 7 out of 10. Here's the reasoning. It gives me the strengths of the coaching conversation. It gives me areas for improvement, and on we go. I said, do you believe the coach is coaching at an ICF PCC level? And again, it says there's lots of assumptions, etc., etc. So what I hope I've done in just this very short time, and I did ask it to rate another coaching conversation, and it said 6 out of 10, and it also gave all the terms and conditions. By the way, 7 out of 10 on an ICF rating scale is a PCC. So up to 6 is ACC, 7 to 8 is 7, 8, and 9. I think 7 and 8 is PCC, and 9 and 10 is MCC. So it's kind of given that piece. This, by the way, is a low PCC recording, so more like on that low end of PCC as well. Fascinating, says Peg. Yeah, I agree. So what I want to offer you is, don't be afraid. Take your transcripts or recordings or whatever they might be and put them into something like ChatGPT and see what it's got to say. We can really push ourselves here in terms of our coaching. And not only that, we can reflect on what the feedback and how the feedback is coming back. Rather than going, yeah, I'm empowering, I'm active listening, I'm ticking the box, I'm doing this, this, and this. What is it that is actually being suggested here? Now, of course, you can get a human like Bridget to review your recordings, and she's setting up mentoring programs for that. What we like about ChatGPT, and this scenario is that you can do this in your own time at any time, really. So if you've set aside an hour in the evening to really take a look at your coaching, you can do that. If you're applying for your ACC or applying for your PCC, it's great. You can actually ask it, do you think that I'm hitting the markers or the ICF core competencies? So we know that the human intervention and the human interaction is so important. We know that this was a tiny snippet, and despite that, I am really super keen, very happy with the feedback that I got back. I've got insights in how I can push my coaching to the next level. I've got some things I need to think about and sharpen up in my coaching when I move forward. So there's lots of opportunities for you. I can't believe it. We are right on time. So keen to hear any other thoughts or comments that you might have, everybody. Thank you. Harry said it was very insightful, can see the application of AI. Yes, we need to not be afraid of this. In fact, I really feel if we embrace it, we're going to take our coaching to the next level, and that is what we want. That's how we continuously learn and grow. Thank you, Paul. Good on you. Well, with that in mind, Rachel's saying I had no idea. Amazing. I tell you what, though, you'll go into this and you'll go down some rabbit holes. So don't be surprised if an hour or 2 hours later, I was just preparing this coaching cafe for you, and I was doing this for for 2 hours. I went, oh, quick, look at the time. So you will go down rabbit holes. You will get a little bit wrapped up in it, because it really, you can really challenge it as well. And you can reflect on the questions and suggestions. So it's a really good point that Paula makes. Thank you. It was interesting seeing the questions and suggestions by ChatGPT, and that's important. So they are suggestions. You need to apply your knowledge of the client, your knowledge of the context and the situation. You need to, as Ian said, apply your own voice to the questions. All of these things we need to do. And at the same time, it can give you really interesting insights. So yes, thank you. All right, you need to all finish up now. So we really encourage you between now and when we see you again, enjoy your coaching, have a little bit of an explore and see how you go. And we look forward to hearing about that at our next coaching cafe. We'll say goodbye for now.